Hi, Dolphins. This is Lisa Sewell, Career Counselor and Alumni Mentorship Coordinator with CSU Channel Islands. Today, we're going to be talking about the proactive job search. So, I want you to start by thinking about your normal approach to searching for positions. So, what strategies do you already use? For many people, when they're thinking of searching for a job or an internship, the first step they think is look for an online job board. So maybe like Indeed or LinkedIn or even Dolphin CareerLink, which is CI's job board, and see which positions are posted. So while that is a helpful way to see which positions are advertised, today's session is going to focus more on the proactive approach. And so we'll talk about what that means and why that's important. So according to the Wall Street Journal, about 80% of jobs are never advertised online. So instead, they're found through what we call the hidden job market, which means that these positions are found through word of mouth or referral, so through your connections. But according to the data, about 75% of people rely solely on online job applications to find their positions. So that means the majority of people are all competing for the same 20% of jobs that are listed on these job boards. So a more effective approach is to, of course, try to secure an inside referral. So you'll notice the data shows that referrals are only about 7% of applicants. So most people do not have an inside referral, but the 7% of applicants end up becoming 40% of the hires. So it's a much more effective way to land a position if you have somebody on the inside of that company who can put in a good word for you. So we're going to be talking about how to use that to your advantage today. And the reason referrals are so important is because the competition is pretty fierce. So an average corporate job opening can attract about 250 resumes. And if they're only interviewing 4 to 6 people and one person is getting the job, that means it's really tough for you to stand out, even if you are a really quality candidate. So what can you do instead? Instead, you would want to launch what we consider a proactive job or internship search. So this means instead of waiting for positions to be posted that are the right fit for you, you're the one who's taking charge of identifying industries and companies that you'd like to work for. You're strategically building relationships with people who work within those companies. And then you're writing very customized resumes and cover letters for positions if they are advertised, and if they're not, you're writing what we call a prospecting cover letter. And so we'll talk about what that is later. So you'll see here, these 5 steps to a proactive job search are: number 1, deciding on your target industries or sectors that you'd like to work in. Number 2, creating a list of the top companies that you'd like to work for within those industries or sectors. Number 3, you're going to conduct informational interviews with employees who are working at those companies you've put on your list. Number 4, you're going to learn how to use the LinkedIn Alumni tool to find companies that regularly hire alumni from your major. And then lastly, we're going to talk about how to write a customized resume and cover letter so that you're being very specific about each organization and each job that you're interested in. So the first step is to research the organizations that you've put on your list. So at a minimum, of course, you're going to visit the company's website and see if they have any open positions, learn about the company's history, read their About Us section, get familiar with their mission, their values, their products or services, learn about their clients, their competitors. Basically just the foundation of information for each company. But beyond that, you want to do a few other things. So first, you might want to follow your desired company on LinkedIn. And once you're on the company's LinkedIn page, you can find out if you have any connections who work there. So perhaps you have a friend of a friend, or a friend of a family member who works there. So there might be somebody who's connected to you. It could be a previous classmate. It could be a connection through a professor. So find out if you have any connections that are at that company. You can also see if there's any CSUCI alumni who are employed there that you might be able to potentially talk to. Next, you'd want to see if there's any news articles or press releases that you can review. This is helpful to see if there's any updates that the company has shared that you should know about. So maybe they've launched a new product or they've won an award recently. So you'd want to know all of this news. And then you'd want to follow at least one or two of their social media pages. This is really helpful so you can, again, stay up to date on any of the happenings within that company. And another great place to get information about an organization is glassdoor.com. This is a resource where current and previous employees review their experience. So they basically share the pros and cons about working at that company, and it gives you a really good insider perspective on what it's like to work there. This is information that you can use in your cover letter, during your informational interviews, and even during an interview if you do get the chance to interview for a position. Next step is to research the employees that are at these top companies that you're considering. A really easy place to do this is to look up LinkedIn profiles of their company employees, specifically within maybe the department that you'd like to work in. So once you click on a profile, you want to be pretty thorough about what you're researching. So for example, Jessica's profile here shows that she is the Senior Manager of Risk Management and Finance at Netflix. And Jessica graduated from CSU Channel Islands, looks like with a bachelor's degree in economics. So maybe you're an economics student and you're interested in Netflix and you'd love to have a chance to talk with Jessica about the experience of working your way up to get to that senior manager role one day and hearing more about what it's like to work at Netflix. So before you contact Jessica, you'd want to review, of course, the person's education, look at their work history and the different organizations they've been at, but also continue reading. So are they involved in any volunteer organizations? Are they part of any professional associations? So read through their profile and see, do you have anything in common with this person that you could talk about when you reach out? Also, sometimes people will include specific projects or job duties under each of their roles. They may talk about accomplishments that they've had or any technology that they're using. So pay attention to that information. See if there's anything that stands out to you. And then for each company that you're considering, try to research between 3 and 5 employees and see if there's any themes. I've noticed for some companies, sometimes there'll be a theme across employees that everybody is involved in volunteer work. So if that's something that's important to you too, that's something you might want to ask about or even highlight on your resume. At other companies, I've noticed people are, it's very common that they have maybe a side business. So they're maybe very creative and they have their own company that they've started in addition to their position. So start to see if there's any themes among employees that you could either bring up in an informational interview or that you could discuss on your profile. The next thing you want to pay attention to when you're looking at job openings is to be aware of which job titles you're interested in and to recognize that each company might refer to a person's position in a slightly different way. So the language or the job title isn't going to be the same at each company. Also be thinking about the level of experience. So for example, if you've just graduated, you might want to be looking for positions with more entry-level job titles. So maybe with the word assistant or specialist or coordinator, as opposed to positions that have the word manager or director or senior. So on LinkedIn, you can actually filter positions by experience level to help give you an idea of what kind of job titles you might want to be looking for. Okay, so the next step, once you've identified your list of organizations and the employees that work within those companies that you'd like to talk to, now's the time to actually set up an informational interview. So an informational interview is a short conversation, usually about 20 minutes, and it can be done via phone or video chat. And this is a chance for you to prepare a list of questions and get to speak with somebody who's doing a job you might want to do one day or working within a company that you'd like to join. You're going to take notes during this conversation so that you can follow up afterward. You can say thank you, and you can implement any advice that they shared. And a really good tip is to try to keep this person posted maybe every 3 to 6 months on your progress. This is a good way for you to stay in touch with that individual and for you to stay fresh in their mind so that if an opportunity does become available that you could be a fit for, they might reach out to you and encourage you to apply. And then you get that inside referral. So we do have a lot more information on doing informational interviews At the end, I have some resources shared. So Dolphin Connect is an online mentoring and networking community, and we have informational interview resources in there. So I would definitely encourage you to review that before contacting people. We have templates of how to reach out, questions to ask, and even how to write a thank you email afterward. So I'll share more about that with you at the end. Okay, so other things that you can do to help you stand out as an applicant is to, again, be proactive about building your skills. So maybe through reading job descriptions or doing informational interviews with employees, you've discovered that there are certain skill sets that they're looking for, that an employer might be looking for, that you just don't have yet. Maybe you haven't covered it in school, or maybe you've just brushed the surface, but you want to go a little bit deeper. So one tool that you have at your disposal is LinkedIn Learning. And this is something you can access through your MyCI portal. Once you sign in, you can search for any topic you want. So you'll see the example here. I included Maya for anybody who's interested in building their skills there. But you can search for any topic. LinkedIn Learning is pretty incredible. The variety of topics is pretty vast. So you could search for Excel tutorials or Java or search engine optimization. So any topic you can think of, try typing it in the search bar, and chances are you might find a course or a video on it that you could take. One thing that is helpful in LinkedIn Learning, you'll see on the left-hand side, you have the option to watch courses, videos, or you can even select what's called a learning path. And a learning path has basically grouped courses and videos together for you so that at the end you have hours of content that you can complete and you can actually get a certificate that you can include on your LinkedIn profile or on your resume. So this is something that can help you stand out as an applicant. Other things you can do would be to join industry-related groups on LinkedIn. This is a nice way to start networking with people in your field. And once you are in the same group, you can direct message any other professional that's in that group, even if you're not already connected. You can also become an officer or join a maybe academic-related club at Channel Islands. I'd also encourage you to do a Google search of any professional associations in your industry and start using their resources. Many of them have great resources for free on their website, or you can see what benefits would be included if you joined as a student member. And then finally, talk to your professors. See if they have any professional associations they recommend. Maybe there's journals that they'd suggest that you check out, or perhaps they could even refer you to some industry-related webinars. Okay, so the next step is, of course, maybe there is a job opening at this dream company of yours. You've done your informational interview, you've gotten the inside scoop, you have worked on your resume, but maybe you haven't customized it yet. Maybe you have the same one that you've been sending out to multiple organizations and maybe you're not hearing back. So the best thing that you can do if you have a top company and a position you're really excited about is to take the time to make your resume specific to the company and to the role. So what I have here in this example is a job description for an operations coordinator. And you'll see that there's highlighted sections about what's important in this particular role. So in yellow, this is kind of a description of the company itself. In pink, these are kind of the main skill areas that they're looking for. Anything in blue shows technical kind of software programs. So notice they have Excel, Google Docs, Salesforce. So these are things that you might want to emphasize if you have technical skills. And then green are maybe more of the soft skills. So you'll see passionate about social change, collaborative, proactive, independent self-starter. So going through and being very detailed about what this company is looking for will help you decide what to emphasize in your resume. So one thing that people sometimes will do on their resume is limit themselves to paid positions. But the important thing to remember is for companies, they're less concerned about whether or not you got paid for it. They just want to know what knowledge do you have and what value are you going to bring to this role. So maybe you did a really comprehensive research project or capstone in an area that's related to the job that you want. If you did it in class, that still counts. You can talk about that on your resume. So maybe you could create a course projects section or a relevant experience section on your resume where you can highlight work that you've done that's related to the position that you'd like to have. So for any help with your resume, we do have some great samples separated out by major on the career development website, and I've included those links for you at the end. Okay, so what happens if you're interested in a company? You've, again, been on their website, you've read about them, you've met with their employees, and they're just not hiring right now. Maybe they don't have any positions posted that are a fit for you, but you really want to work for them. Don't limit yourself. Don't wait for a posting. Instead, you can write what's called a prospecting cover letter. And think of this as basically you're pitching yourself to the company and you're highlighting why you want to work for them. So you'll notice in this particular example, this person is interested in working for a nonprofit. And they're sharing that they've researched this nonprofit's mission, why they're interested in working for them. And then in the middle of the letter, they're talking about their experience that relates. So they're mentioning their bachelor's degree in sociology. They're talking about their long-term career goals of working in nonprofit management or going into social work. And then they're highlighting their experience. So they've already had experience working with foster youth as a volunteer. And they also are highlighting their resident advisor experience. And then in the last paragraph, this is where they're basically pitching to the organization the type of work that they would like to do for them. So they're trying to get a summer internship up to 20 hours a week, assisting with planning and organizing events, conducting outreach and marketing. And they're basically letting this organization know that they're interested in working with them and to be in touch if they'd like to talk. So this is something that you can do for an internship or a full-time position. So once you've taken the time to really research a company, if they're your dream company and you want to be there, don't feel like you have to wait for a job opening. This is a chance for you to stand out, to make an impression on the hiring manager. And then if they do have a position in the future, they might keep you in mind. You might be at the top of that list. Or in some instances, they might get your letter and decide, actually, we do have a role that, could become available, or we could create something for you. So it's not unheard of that if they're impressed enough, they might make an opening because they see the value that you would bring. So for writing a prospecting cover letter, this is something that you could include in the body of your email and then attach your resume, or you could actually hard copy mail your letter and your resume directly to the company. And you'd, of course, want to try to identify a specific person to address this to. So we recommend trying to figure out who is the head of the department that you'd like to work in. They're likely the hiring manager. But for any help with this, you can, of course, contact Career Services, and we're happy to help you do a little research. Okay, so let's recap what we've covered for today. So what is the secret to your proactive job search? Well, one of the main things is focus on getting referrals. So one of the first things you're going to do is identify the industry or sector that you'd like to work in, create your list of preferred organizations, and then start talking to people who work at those companies. So as far as how to find people to talk to, start by asking professors, classmates, friends, family, neighbors, see if they have any contacts that are in your field of interest. So start with your immediate network. Next, you could do informational interviews with CSUCI alumni who are signed up as mentors on Dolphin Connect, which is CSUCI's online mentoring and networking community. And then you could also utilize the LinkedIn alumni tool to find additional Channel Islands alumni who might be willing to offer you some career advice. And then finally, take the time to write customized resumes and cover letters for any of the companies that you're interested in. So on this page, I've outlined some resources to help you with your job search. So like I said, Dolphin Connect is a great place to learn more about the informational interview or networking process. So once you've joined the community, we have a lot of great resources available to you. And I've also included a video here about how to search for mentors on the platform. Next, we have a link to a video basically walking you through how to use the LinkedIn alumni tool. If you're not already on LinkedIn and you'd like some help with your profile, you're always welcome to make an appointment with the Career Center. We can help you with that. I've also included Dolphin CareerLink, which is CSUCI's online job board. And I've included links to our resume and cover letter samples and also our YouTube channel that has some really great video tutorials on the job search. So please don't hesitate to reach out. We are available virtually for appointments. You can schedule through Calendly, or you can always call or email us if there's anything we can do to help. So thanks so much, Dolphins. Have a great day.